Since 1965, U.S. home prices have risen over 2,000%. Wages? Up around 400%. That gap used to be manageable. Now, the average American home costs nearly $420,000, over 7 times the median annual income. In 1980, it was just 3 times. And even if someone manages to keep up with rising costs, there's another obstacle waiting for them before they even start saving. Owning a home has long been part of the American dream. But today, millions of people are discovering that working hard and earning more doesn't necessarily bring that dream any closer. Then there's personal debt, over $18 trillion across the country, with many Americans carrying $20,000 to $30,000 in outstanding loans. Every dollar going to loan repayment is a dollar not going toward a down payment. For many households, it's not just one financial burden holding them back. It's the combination of rising expenses, existing debt, and slower growing incomes that makes saving so difficult. And just when homeownership already feels out of reach, borrowing money to buy one has become dramatically more expensive too. Mortgage rates climbed above 7% in 2023, the highest in 2 decades. At that rate, a $400,000 home can end up costing nearly $700,000 over the life of a 30-year loan. The monthly payment alone can exceed $2,500. But high prices and high interest rates are only part of the story. There's another problem hiding underneath all of this. Even if someone finally saves enough for a down payment, buying a home has become far more expensive than it was just a few years ago. And that's only part of what's driving this crisis. There simply aren't enough homes. The U.S. is short by an estimated 3 to 4 million housing units. Meanwhile, corporate investors bought nearly 30% of single-family homes in some markets in recent years, turning would-be starter homes into rental properties. And for many young people, that's exactly where the cycle begins. Housing prices don't rise simply because people want homes. When supply stays limited while demand keeps growing, competition pushes prices even higher, and everyday buyers end up paying the price. The average renter spends over 30% of their income on rent. And in major cities, it's closer to 50%. When half your paycheck disappears every month, saving for a down payment starts to feel impossible. So, if the system is this difficult, is there actually any realistic path forward? That's why so many people feel trapped in a cycle. Rent keeps consuming a large share of their income, leaving very little room to build the savings needed to eventually buy a home. Some states offer first-time buyer assistance programs. Some peoples are moving to lower-cost cities or buying homes with co-buyers. Others are simply waiting and hoping the market cools down. But these aren't perfect solutions. They're workarounds to a much bigger systemic problem. The dream of homeownership isn't dead, but for many people, it's been pushed further away than for almost any generation before them. There are ways to make homeownership more achievable, and many families are finding creative solutions. But these are often adjustments to the market, not solutions to the underlying problem. And until wages rise, supply increases, and housing stops being treated like an investment first and a necessity second, the numbers simply don't work. Homeownership is still possible for many people, but it's no longer a milestone that comes naturally with hard work alone. The market has changed, and understanding why is the first step toward making better financial decisions.